Well, hello there, ladies and gents. This is Jason, Zombie Collector, and I wanted to kind of talk to you guys. I haven't really done nice sit down fireside chat, and I wanted us to talk a little bit about you. I kind of have been like burned out, to be honest with you, on baseball cards and collecting. I feel like every video now is about people trying to make money off of the cards. It's about now flipping and prospecting and like I don't feel like there's like a lot of love for the hobby as far as collecting. I feel like now it's all about making the quick bucks. Everybody's making the money. Everybody's trying to flip. Everybody trying to get graded cards. It's always about this PSA versus SGC versus this versus that. And can I get my cards back in time? Do I can do a flip? And this guy who's ever even laced up his cleats and walked out on the baseball field has that $6,000 card, and vintage versus modern, and who makes the best decisions, and are these numbers going to sustain? Are these prices going to do this? It's like the stock market, and it just, for honestly, I'm just kind of burned out from it. I just feel like a lot of it's just a bunch of guys chasing their tails, and I really just don't give a crap about it, quite frankly. I mean, I just could care less. Like, I enjoy hearing a few people talk about it, the ones that are knowledgeable, the ones that are pretenders. It's painfully obvious, the ones who just try to like do videos where they can like bring people to their channels so they can try to be like fresh and new, try to bring something to the table, which they obviously don't even know what they're talking about, and they're just ignorant to even think they can talk about it. And then a lot of people's channels are just, in my opinion, which is doesn't even get you a cup of coffee, or in my case, a cup of green tea. I feel like a lot of people's channels now, which was a lot of passion and hobby driven for as collectors, has turned into what can I do? What can I get for me lately kind of thing? What can I get from other people? What can I get from grading? What can I do to flip things on eBay or in Facebook groups? And all I hear is about sell, 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 buy. And I don't really see as much about collecting anymore. I mean, there's obviously a few guys, but like all the things that come across my screen, these are some of the guys are my friends or people I respect and like, but I just kind of got turned off on it. It's just not people talking about collections. It's always about, what can I buy? And, so, I just kind of got burned out from it because it seemed like a lot of guys are doing that. And, and again, it's not a lot, not everybody, but it seems like there is a huge uptick because the market is exploding and everybody wants to pounce because either one, they want to get YouTube famous and they think they're going to get likes and views and subscribers. And they talk about the stock market of baseball cards and prospecting. And then the other aspect of it is it's like trying to take the focal point turn from collecting and love of the hobby to I'm gonna try to be the Donald Trump of baseball cards or whatever. That don't trigger anybody. That's the name I pulled out of my little hat. So with all that being said, I was like, what I've been doing recently, guys, to take some words out of John Mangini's mouth. You know what I like to do when I get so burned out about baseball cards and people talking about nonsense and everybody's prospecting about players that don't even matter and probably won't even walk onto the field in their entire lives? I like to watch movies and TV shows about wrestling. Yeah, that's right. So two things I want to talk about. I watched AEW, All Elite Wrestling, on YouTube, and I've been watching all their episodes. It's been amazing. So if you're a wrestling fan, I would highly recommend it. They've done a lot of like projects for YouTube exclusively. Some of it might have to do with the Rona because they can't do live shows with audience members. But man, they've been cutting some promos, and if you know anything about wrestling, you know a lot about people who are able to cut promos and talk on the talk and just do a lot of great mic work. And it is amazing. I mean, honestly, I kind of dabbled in A&W the last couple of years, about a year or so. But since there's been a lot of downtime, and like I said, over the last couple of weeks, I don't know. I'll put out a few videos, but lots of my videos are just like, honestly, my ball card videos have been a lot of care package videos, which I've been greatly appreciative of. But I'm not doing a lot of content for myself because, like I said, I was getting burned out from it. But my passion has been ignited watching lots of AEW stuff. So guys, I know for most of you all who probably could care less about wrestling, this is going to be like, whatever, I don't care. next please, or thumbs down this video. Maybe I'll even unsubscribe to Jason. But I highly recommend checking out AEW. And even if you don't watch like all the matches, like watch some of the promo work. Oh my gosh, it is absolutely hilarious. There's a Dr. MD, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She has a couple hilarious promos that she's been doing. The Bubbly Bunch with Chris Jericho and his group of guys is absolutely hilarious. He does they've done 3 or 4 videos. A lot of Tony Schiavone stuff is absolutely fantastic. They do lots of what do you like internet based, YouTube based after the show, after the AEW wrestling match. It's Taz, Excalibur, and JR, good old JR, Jim Ross, and they just break down the different versions of the matches they had just seen and talk about the work throughout the entire week. It's been really fun to watch that, guys. So if you're a wrestling fan, if you're like completely a mark for WWE and you don't see anybody else, don't want to watch anybody else, you're doing yourself a disservice, because WWE is literally going around the toilet like a big old turd. I'll watch SmackDown on Fridays once in a while. It's absolutely atrocious. Like literally, it is painful to watch. And here's the thing. AEW is doing the exact same thing WWE is doing. They're working from their home base, no fans. Literally, WWE, unless they changed something last week or so, but I've watched it for the last 2 months. There's no one in there except the referee and the 2 people who are working, and then there's like one guy doing commentating, maybe 2, and that's it. Well, AEW, they bring in whoever's there on staff. They have all the other wrestlers who aren't wrestling around the ring on the outskirts. They're out with the protection around like you would do like a normal wrestling match. They're like 10, 15 feet away from the match or the mat, and they're like cheering it on. So it feels like a little bit like interactive, and they'll get up there and they're not up there just sitting in front of the microphone just talking. Hardly any of them, just violent empty in an empty stadium, in an empty room. When these guys are talking or cutting promos or like talking all this smack, they're getting reactions. It's not cringy, as the kids like to say nowadays. It's actually hilarious, or that like progresses a really interesting storyline, and they'll do lots of intermixing with actual interaction. Like other people will come in and stop the promo, or they'll get involved in the fight or whatever. Whereas the WWE, they're just standing there and they're like threatening each other over a jumbotron, or they'll be threatening the commentator, or they'll be threatening each other, but no one actually fights because I don't know what's going on. They're just sitting there and like give each other a stare down, and then they walk away. But it's just literally, my son could write a better wrestling gimmick than what's going on at WWE. It's painful, absolutely painful to watch. And the next thing is, there is a YouTuber that I've been watching. He's been doing interviews with wrestlers for like 8 years, but he's really focused in the last couple years. And I mean, it's everybody. It's the Hall of Famers. It's the ECW guys. It's the independent guys. It's the up-and-comers, the new guys, the guys from NEXT. It's the guys from Lucha Underground from back in the day, AEW, WWE, the guys who did everything in between. A lot of independent guys that do like switches over. They'll switch different brands. They're like big on the independent circuit. They might not even do a lot of the bigger name stuff. The guy's name's Chris Van Vliet, VANV. I'm looking off LIET, and then of course Chris, spelled like you'd expect. But I would highly recommend his channel because he is a wrestling fan. So it's not like he's just up there with a microphone and he's asking all the questions that they always get asked. He gets them to do a lot of shoot interviews where they just really shoot on each other, which again is a terminology in wrestling where they break kayfabe and they really talk smack about other wrestlers, other organizations. They're not putting up a front, because a lot of times we all know wrestling's fake, but there's aspects of it that bring real life and the fantasy to life. And sometimes those things intermingle. Sometimes people don't know the difference. They know it's fake, but they don't know what storylines have some base reality. And I know I'm a huge mark for a lot of that. but he's really great with like asking all kinds of questions. He's so knowledgeable. You can tell the wrestling. I mean, he interviews women, the men, the retired people, the ones that, like I said, literally just like starting out, and he asks all kinds of questions. And people who are like hot right now, like super hot, a lot of the ones that are like, you supernova hot, he's talking to them. Maybe not he talks to The Rock a lot, actually. So there's a lot of guys that on here that he interviews. If you've not seen his channel, he has, I don't know, a couple hundred videos, I would say, but he's up to 250,000 subscribers. So it's not like this guy's in his basement interviewing DDP in his underwear. I mean, he's like doing some really great stuff. I highly, highly recommend it. He gave me $7.77 to give him a promo, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and push him out there because my channel of 400 subscribers would definitely put him over the edge and get him to that 300,000 that he's begging to get. But I highly recommend it. You can tell he's friends with some of the guys. Like it's not just he's just their interviewer, but a lot of times it's a little bit more professional. But he'll interview Gangrel, which I just loved back in the '90s or early odds. Bushwhacker Luke. He'll do Dolph Ziggler, The Miz. I mean everybody. Alexa Bliss. All these big stars. I mean all kinds of stuff. I mean Son of Havoc, Matt Cross, I love. And I mean, I'm just like, Vampiro, who I love. I mean, just everybody. DDP, Ric Flair, Hogan, Jimmy Hart. I mean, all of it. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I mean, everybody. Like I said, those are just like a few off the top of my head I've been watching recently because I'm going back and rewatching a few that I missed. So anyways, guys, I just kind of want to share a little passion I have of mine recently. I don't expect this video to get very many views, or most people probably won't even comment. But I thought it'd be something fun to throw out there and talk about. I think I'm going to start going in the direction a little bit of doing more film-based videos where I might do a review of a film or talk about films in general or certain genres or talk about maybe some experience I've had with people involved in film and maybe show off a little bit of my collection. I know I did that a lot about a year and a half ago. Not a lot, but a handful of films. And I got a little traction. So we'll see. But anyways, guys, nothing special. I would love to hear your all's feedback in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I mean, be honest. I appreciate honesty is the best policy. So give me what you really think because I can handle the truth. Can you handle the truth? And the answer is yes. But until next time, guys, I appreciate your friendship and your YouTube ship with me. And thank you for watching. Peace.